Hi there, this is Mark Fortine, Senior Solutions Specialist with Toon with an expertise in compositing. In this video, we'll take a look at cameras, adding a peg, and their layer properties. So let's go to our node library. We're going to go to our favorites section, and we're going to drag in the camera. So now that we have the camera here, we're going to open up its layer properties. One thing to understand is whenever you have a scene with any elements in there, what you want is a camera to move through the scene or side to side or trucking in. So the first thing you're going to notice is we have a z-axis set to 12F. Everything else is zeroed out. And the reason for this, and to see what that is we have to bring up a top view. So I'm going to go down here and I'll choose my top view and I'll undock it and hold to the right so that this green section lights up, and then I'm going to let it go. Now I have my top view next to my node view. And if I zoom out, you can see this cone, right? So essentially this is your 0 Z depth plane where all of our images are showing up, and our camera is set right now to 12 forward. That way it can look onto our objects at 0 Z plane. If this was any closer, such as like a 2F, you see how close we are to the information and the camera is almost beyond, and if we're at 0, then it's at the same spot, so we're not seeing anything since everything is beyond its information. So that's why by default the camera goes to 12F so that it can look onto the plane where all of our information is, currently at 0 Z space. So now we have all these default. The other thing you want to see is the clipping planes. So this is basically information limiting how far the camera will take information and how close as well. So you don't have to edit any of that. And if you wanted to override the field of view, you can do so by clicking this. Say if you wanted a wider angle, such as 60, you would see more of the plane. You can see the angle of the camera has changed. Or you could have a smaller one, which is a narrow plane. You'll see less of the plane. So this is more of a technical aspect. So let's set it back to the default field of view. And next thing we want to do, I'll just shift this to the side, is you want a camera peg, because you can't move the camera itself without transform information. So if you click the camera, have it selected, and then we're going to hit Control P, you'll get a camera peg, or you could simply drag in a new peg and connect it, call it whatever you like. And in the peg information you have the traditional transform information, and we'll cover this in a bit. If we go down to our timeline and we select the camera, we can see that we have the camera peg and a little plus sign. So if I select this plus sign, you see I have the camera down here, the peg information, and the layer parameters that allow me to change things in here in the timeline itself.